What up, gang? Welcome to the channel. I'm back with another video, man. Listen, if you're on YouTube and you're watching all these different trucking channels, some of them you may be watching for entertainment purposes only. That's cool. But if you're watching because maybe you're interested in a particular job that content creator has, instead of just watching the video, start getting active in the comment section. Start networking with other people. It's even better if you can run across somebody who works for the same company that the content creator does, and they're in the comment section as well. Ask them if they'll be willing to connect with you offline. See if they'll give you their email address, and just take it from there and see where it goes. A closed mouth don't get fed. And you got to remember, this market, this trucking industry, is still very competitive when it comes to jobs. I can't tell you guys how many times I still see people getting turned down for jobs. Companies are also laying off people. We see that as well. But don't get it twisted. People are still getting jobs out here. Use this platform. Take full advantage of what it can do for you. Don't just sit on the sidelines waiting for something to fall in your lap. You guys got to put forth some effort in order for things to change in your life. You know, it kind of reminds me of this story that one of my all-time favorite speakers likes to tell. Shout out to Jim Rohn, R.I.P. For those of you that's been following the channel for a while, you know Jim Rohn is one of my favorite speakers. He tells this story where he calls up this guy named John, and he says, "John, I got this gold mine in my backyard. I got so much gold back here, I don't know what to do with it. Why don't you come over here and dig?" And John says, "I don't have a shovel." So Jim Rohn said, "Well, let's go get you one." John says, "You know what they want for those shovels these days?" And to me, that's just a really good illustration of how people can just make excuses even when there's an opportunity in front of them that can literally change their lives. The first excuse he made was he didn't have a shovel. The second excuse he made was the price of the shovel. You know what they want for those shovels these days? Can you imagine somebody calling you up, telling you they got a gold mine in their backyard, and they invite you to come over to start digging? Man, if somebody called me telling me that, forget a shovel, I'm going to rent me a mini excavator. For those of you that don't know what an excavator is, I'll put a picture on the screen. I'm getting as much gold as possible. As a matter of fact, I might rent two. You can rent one of those, a 4,000-pound mini excavator, about $200 a day. Yeah, I think I get two of them. I'm coming out of that backyard. I'm tearing the whole backyard up. The return on my investment is gonna be astronomical. Some people just want things handed to them. You gotta put some work in. You gotta put some skin in the game. You can't just sit back and think things is gonna fall in your lap. Sometimes people will hit me up and they'll ask me to do a company review, or they'll ask me to see if any jobs are in the area that they live in. I say, "Hey man, can you check and see if any fuel hauling jobs hiring where I live?" Now, I live in Florida. When I do company reviews, typically I'm doing reviews on certain companies that are in various places, not just in Florida. I don't really do like state specific jobs. I kind of try to cater to as many people as I can. But I don't know what's going on everywhere else, because there are companies that are in other parts of the country that isn't in Florida, like Sheets, for example, or CLI Transport, I should say. We don't have one of those in Florida. So what you guys need to do in that type of scenario is what I would do, use Google. Google search is your best friend. Get on Google, put in fuel hauling, Class A jobs. That'll pull them up. Or trucking jobs or whatever. Put in something along those lines. Class A tanker jobs, anything along those lines. You gotta put forth a little effort. You know, if I can help you out, I'm gonna do my best to help you out. I've had people ask me about certain job opportunities with Gordon Food Service, and they'll be in a totally different location. And they'll ask me, hey, are y'all hiring over here? And I'm like, bro, I don't know. Sometimes I reach out to my management team to ask them if they know about, you know, any job opportunities in certain locations. But my manager, you know, he's so busy, he has a lot going on. So a lot of times you got to keep reminding him because he'll forget. But I had a situation, I guess about a month or so ago, where somebody reached out to me and they live in, you know, a certain area. They was asking me about a job opening, I should say, with GFS, and I wasn't sure if they was hiring over there or not, and it was taking my manager too long to get back with me on that. So I reached out to somebody else, another connection. Shout out to my guy. But I know he lives over there, and he's also a food service driver working for a totally different company. I hit him up to ask him if he can help me help this other individual get on. This person was coming off the road and they wanted to get into food service. I hit my guy up, asked him if he could do me a favor. And make a long story short, my guy told me that they actually was hiring for drivers at the time, but they were only hiring drivers who had prior food service experience. So like I just mentioned, my guy, he was coming off the road, never done food service before a day in his life. So, you know, that wouldn't have worked for him. But my guy said, if he doesn't have any experience, I can get him on as a driver helper. And then after a few months, he can transition over to a driver. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see if he cool with that. So I went back to him and I was like, look, this is what he said he can do. If you're willing to take a driver helper role for a few months, he can get you in the door. So he started asking me about pay and stuff like that. Obviously, I didn't know those details. So I went back to my guy. I was like, look, let me just take myself out of the equation. I said, hey, man, do you mind if I give him your contact information so he can hit you up and then you two can just discuss it? That'll remove me out the picture entirely. And that's what we did. Make a long story short, my guy who was looking for the job reached back out to me basically to thank me for, you know, setting everything up. And obviously I thank my guy for helping him out. And, you know, that's the power of connections, right? So now you got somebody that all he did was ask me a favor. I reached out to somebody who I knew in that area that could possibly help. And that's what happened. So he didn't have to worry about putting in an application and sitting back waiting and hoping for somebody to reach back out to him. My guy is able to speak directly to the hiring manager and put him in. And, you know, that's how it works, man. That's how you can get in the door. That's how you can skip to the front of the line with these job opportunities. And that's why building relationships and having these type of connections is so important, particularly when you talk about a competitive market like we're in right now. Last but not least, I want to leave you guys with this. Your daily habits should align with the person you want to become. You really got to sit back and take a inventory of the things that you're doing on a daily basis and ask yourself a serious question. Am I doing the things that's going to make me a better version of myself daily? Whatever that looks like for you, whatever that is, whatever goal you're trying to set for yourself, whether it's you saving a certain amount of money in your bank account, are you doing the things necessary in order to reach that goal? Because here's the thing, nothing changes unless you do. And that's just the facts. Listen, that's all I got for you guys. Until the next video, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.